morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever time zone it is. Welcome to another episode of GSC's Girl Pod. It is the last episode of the year, so hopefully by now you know our faces. But in case you don't, hi, I'm Candy, and I am joined by the lovely Brit. How you doing today, Brit?
I'm we're hanging in there. It's the last week of the year and
Mhm.
we're going.
We're doing it. We're doing the thing. We are doing
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
Well, where we wanted to make sure that we had one more episode for the year, an episode where we really look ahead to everything. Because 2025 has been a hell of a year for gaming. And I think 2026 might shape up to be just as good of a year. But before we
Mhm.
dive into everything, if you're not already following the channel, please be sure to click that subscribe button. You'll also get to see the weekly news podcast, any specials that we do. And if you need more gaming related stuff, we have gamersocialclub.ca, which is the website that we write for. Lots of editorials, guides, news, reviews written for gamers, by gamers. We're not professionals. We're just people hanging out on the internet, bringing you news, hoping you want to talk to us about all of it. So join us there. That's what brought me and Britt together. And now she's stuck with me. She might not know that, but she
We'll see you guys later.
is. So today, as we do in every episode, we want to talk about what we're drinking. So why don't you get us started?
Okay, so some people are gonna think this is really weird, but this is a family favorite in my I think it's traditional in my family house, but it's okay. There is this little dairy that we
Mm-hmm.
get eggnog from. So it's like thick boy. Like eggnog, like almost milkshake material. But then we add ginger ale to it.
Okay.
So it's kind of like this dirty eggnog without the alcohol, I guess. I think the ginger ale is supposed to represent like that alcohol, but
Mm-hmm.
without it, I guess. But I think it's an acquired taste. My dad hates it,
Okay.
thinks it's so weird. My mom, on the other hand, absolutely loves it. So it's acquired, but all you need is a mug of your favorite eggnog, and I have this one specifically, but it's got to be the tiny, like
Oh, the mini
like
cans that they make.
it's the perfect size. I mean, you could get a 2 liter if you're serving a whole bunch of people, but if you're doing solo, it's a perfect size. So,
Okay. And
um,
now you
um,
said your dad doesn't like it. Did it start with your mom or did it start even before that?
I think it started with my mom
Okay.
because like I think she brought it into the thing, but my dad's very particular on what he likes. He'll drink this straight. He'll
Mm-hmm.
drink eggnog straight, but he won't mix them together. My child's that way. She is not a mixer.
Okay.
Her plate, she like will make sushi bowls. Everything has to be separated. Maybe that's a kid thing, but
I mean,
I'm
maybe.
gonna blame it on family. But
That's fair. I mean, it's just maybe the mixing skips a generation.
it might, because
The
I don't really
taste buds
care.
skip.
I mean, I have sensory issues where I don't like certain textures of foods,
Mhm.
but like I'm okay with mixing. Her, on the other hand, they've got to be like this far apart and on separate plates. And if anything's wet, I don't want it. So,
Valid.
so, but
Valid.
I recommend trying it at least once. I feel like the one thing I will say is people are like, oh, just use the eggnog that you can find at the grocery store. No, you got to have good
Mhm.
eggnog. Otherwise, you're just
Yes.
making it runny, like even runnier than it is. If it's thick, I think that's why they did it, is because it's so thick.
And then you
Because it's
that
like,
yeah,
yeah,
that makes sense. I feel like the eggnog that you buy at the stores ends up being like a vehicle for whatever liquor you're putting in it. Like it's not
I, hmm
it's not that you're looking specifically for the flavor or it's like it's the holiday. I should have some eggnog. I don't know where else to get it.
hmm
So I'll just buy this carton at the store. I don't know many people that would say, yes, this eggnog from the store in the carton is the best eggnog I've ever had.
hmm
It's a mixer.
yeah. This place specifically has been around since my mom was a kid, like this
Okay.
dairy specifically. Um, and they sell everything from coffee milk, which I used in the last episode's coffee,
Mm-hmm.
um, They made sugar cookie milk, which my daughter's obsessed with. They do
Ooh.
strawberry milk, and I feel like a few others that I haven't tried. I'm lactose intolerant, but here I am.
Still having a little
Um,
bit.
oh yeah, I guess that's a little bit. But you know, I feel like it's nostalgic in the way they're the only
Mhm.
one that still delivers their milk in glass bottles.
Oh my god. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. That's like the stuff you
So
only
it's
see on TV.
yeah, and they still deliver to local areas in the boxes, and they have a few, like, stores that will sell their product. So and they ask for the containers back,
Mhm.
and you drop them off, and they just reuse them. They sanitize and reuse them, which I think is great for the environment, so
100%,
I'm gonna
yeah.
continue to buy them from them, so
Nice. Hell
I think it's
yeah.
cool. Yeah. I just wish they'd make oat milk, but, that's their dairy, so
So, yeah, not their
their
jam.
forte.
Yeah,
It's
forte,
okay.
thank you.
It's okay. I'll continue as a lactose intolerant person, continue to
They
drink
make medicine for
hot.
that, you know.
Yeah, I guess. I guess. I'll just torture myself a little bit. What about you? What do you got in your cup?
Okay, so my cup is very boring. Or I should say what's in the cup is very boring. So I will reveal what it is, but then I'm gonna talk more about the cup. Um, so it's Monday. I'm on vacation. I didn't roll out of bed until kind of late. So I actually just have Pepsi in my cup today. Um, Literally, I'm not even gonna try to lie. It's just Pepsi. Um, just because I was like, I woke up and I was like, I don't even have the energy to like grab a cider or pour something like together. I do still have some coquito and stuff like that, but I was like, that's for later. But so I have just Pepsi in here. But what I did want to talk about is the mug itself. Um, so this is a Wild Bill's mug. I know there's a little bit of a glare, and I'm sorry about that. Um, if you go to any conventions that are slightly bigger conventions, right? Big board game conventions, gaming conventions, anything like that. Anything like outside of your like really local hometown convention. I highly recommend that you check if Wild Bills is going to be there. The reason being that especially if you are someone who likes to drink a lot of soda and it does or even like even just like soda water. They always have their carts. It looks like an old school cart almost, at conventions, and when you buy the mug, you get unlimited drinks for the whole day, right? And you're probably thinking, "That's great. However, then I have this mug that I'm gonna buy at every single convention." No, you buy the mug once, you get the unlimited refills throughout the day. If you bring your mug to a convention that Wild Bill's is at, you can then purchase basically like a wristband that allows you to get free refills all day with the mug that you bought last time. So it's almost like an investment. Um, so I was telling Britt just before we started, I was at PAX Unplugged last month, and we brought the mug, and I really thought that it was gonna be like 15 bucks for like the all day refills. It was like 10 bucks. It was so cheap. Meanwhile, like a bottle of soda, if you're like eating at the convention, or even if you're like leaving to like grab stuff, it's like 3, 4, $5 a pop, depending on what you're getting. Right. And I'm
Mhm.
like, so for two people, because it was Sean and I'm like, I'm in the long run saving as long as I'm drinking enough, which two people, yeah, you're probably gonna drink enough.
Yeah.
And they also have so many different flavors, and you don't get locked into a flavor, right? So it's not like, oh, I started with their birch beer and that's all I can drink all day. No, no, no. You could have their birch beer, and then you can go back later and be like, all right, now I'm gonna try their rocket pop. I'm gonna try. They had a strawberry one. I'm gonna get their root beer. Like you can pick whichever flavor you want each time you go to refill. Um, so if you are a convention goer like I am, highly recommend checking if Wild Bill's is going to be there. It'll save you some money. It'll keep you hydrated. Depending on what you're drinking, it'll give you that like sugar rush to keep going throughout a long day at the convention because those can be some long days. Um, And they do sometimes do, like, very special mugs, which is cool, right? So, like, this mug on the other side, it's all New York themed, I think because we got it at, like, New York Comic Con. They've had some special, like, themed game ones, they have pride mugs, they have all different types of things. So, while the drink inside is rather boring, the mug itself, I think, is pretty cool, and you can get lids and straws and all that, so you don't have to worry about, like, "My drink is gonna spill or I have to hold it." They they come with a plan for that too. So highly recommend for con goers.
They were at C2E2 25,
Mhm.
which is Chicago Comic Con, um, and they had a themed mug, and it was, like, the white with, like, the C2E2 logo. It was super cool. It was, like, matte too, like,
Yeah.
it wasn't, like, the metallic, it was, like, the white matte, um, but, like, some of their flavors, like, they have ring pop flavors, and then,
Yep.
what is it? I mean, like, the cream soda floats. So, like, they have options. They even
They
have, like, the
do.
carabiner to
To
add
hook
to
it
your
on your
mug so you
bag.
could yeah, or the, cover and lids, yeah.
Mhm.
And we're not sponsored by Wild
No.
Bill's,
I mean, you can
but
sponsor us. I would love
we
to
could
be.
be, we could be.
Uh,
I
please
do
feel
enjoy
free.
your stuff.
I'm literally showing off your mug. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just really it almost feels like a cheat code for con goers, right? And I will say most cons that I've been to when they're there, they usually have at least 2 different stands. And
Mhm,
a lot of the times there will be some flavors in common, but some of the stands will have different flavors. So you'll get to see a variety because I mean, they have so many flavors. And normally I feel like each stand I see 6 to 8 flavors at each one, and like maybe four will overlap because it's like, they're more popular flavors.
mhm,
And then there's like the ones that vary. And they're usually, like, on the totally opposite side of the conventions, or one will be, like, on the edge and one will be maybe about halfway, like, through the convention floor. Um, I actually it's funny because I, like, will get mad if I go to a convention and I didn't think about them, like, being there, because 'cause I'm like,
mhm.
"Great, now I know I'm gonna spend so much money on soda when I coulda
Yeah,
just, like, had this freaking mug with me on my backpack."
and I understand a lot of conventions making money besides the tickets are their food, but at the
Mhm.
same time, it's like, we went and we brought in a bunch of stuff.
Mhm.
I think the only thing we did buy was drinks.
Well, because how many drinks are you gonna carry? And then it's like, if
Yeah.
your drinks are dependent on being colder, right?
Mm.
Like, especially when you're walking around day and there's all that like body heat and stuff
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. So it's like, yeah,
Mhm,
you want a nice cold
mhm,
drink. And even I'm sure conventions make some money from the food, but a lot of the conventions that I've been to recently, they are like outsourcing a lot of the food, right?
mhm,
So it's like then you have all these different food stands, which is great, and I'm glad for the variety of food, right? But then it's the same thing where I'm like, okay, here's this food stand that I'm ordering, whatever food, whether I'm getting like uh sometimes I'll get empanadas, sometimes I'll go and get their okonomiyaki, right? Depending on I will say the nice thing about New York conventions, there's so much variety in the food that's there. Which is great. But then I'm like, but I'm paying $5 for a soda each time I eat.
mhm,
And there are some conventions that I am literally there at like 10ish when they open, right? And then I'm getting out of there like 7, 8 o'clock. And I'm like, that's easily 2 meals and some snacks, right? And maybe I brought my
mhm.
snackies with me. But then what am I drinking with my snacks, right? So it's like Wild Bill's just comes in clutch.
Yeah.
It does mean that the first time you go to buy a mug, you can anticipate waiting in line for a little bit, right? But once you do it, game changer. At least I
Mhm.
think it is.
And I think some of the mugs are, like, not I'm not gonna say expensive, like, crazy expensive, but they're not cheap either.
Yeah, yeah.
But, like, if you look at candies, like, it's
It's good quality though.
yeah, I
And
wouldn't
it's
put that
big.
through the dishwasher, though.
No, I mean, all right, so we don't have a dishwasher, so we wash everything by hand. Um, but it is, it no, I don't think it says you can dishwash it, but I think it's just like a good rinse, a good clean. Doesn't really stain too much or anything like that. And the other thing that I haven't shown is that it's very deep. right? Like, it is a deep mug, so you are gonna have a lot of beverage in this. Um, but yeah, that's your convention life hack should you be going to a convention. Take it from me who goes
Yeah.
to too many. The number of, uh the number of passes and stuff, and I'm looking at them because I keep them not too far from me. It's kind of absurd. Just looking at the number of badges, I'm like, "Oh, yeah. Spend a lot of money going to conventions."
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you meet Ben Starr and then it pays for itself.
I mean, you're right, you know, me and Ben Starr are just window shopping for D&D dice. So,
Yeah. Yep.
whatever.
I
That you know,
mean, that pays for itself, right?
it does. I will say conventions are expensive, but I think they are as good as you allow them to be. Um,
Mhm.
there are many, many conventions, and you do have to give in a little bit and anticipate that there'll be some lines and, there'll be some things that maybe you won't get to do. Um, but it can be a lot of fun. I this past year went to PAX East as part of Gamer Social Club, not as just like a general person going. But then I went to Anime NYC, PAX Unplugged, and New York Comic Con. All is just like I'm just going as a convention goer.
Mhm.
Um, and yes, I had to wait online for some things, but I also got to experience some really cool things and speak to some really cool people and see really cool cosplay and go to some panels that were like really, really cool. So there is like that trade-off. And I know cons are not for everybody because I know some people are like, I hate crowds. I'm not doing it. Absolutely valid. Do not do it if crowds are not your jam. Um, but I think there is a little bit of fun of like giving in. We went to at Anime NYC. We brought our niece. She is 16. And she's really this I'm just gonna preface this that this was before I started playing the Horse Girl game. Okay. I was not playing the Horse Girl game at this point, but she was, right? She was playing
Okay.
this game.
Yeah.
So we're upstairs in like a spot where we're just like having some snacks, we're eating some fudge, we're having some drinks, we're just kind of unwinding, making sure that like it's not sensory overload for her, right? So we're
Mhm.
like, let's take a break, let's chill. So we're sitting up there chilling, and she sees two people that are dressed as characters from this game, right? And she's like, "Oh my god, look at this gold ship," and I forget who the other one was, right? And I was like, "Oh yeah, they looked really good in like the whole outfits." And she said, "Do you think like I can ask them to do a 10 pull for me for like extra luck?" Because she had a 10 pull on her account. And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Like go ahead, right?" Because we could see her, right? And I love the fact that like here she is engaging with other people like in real time, not just online. Like, yes,
Mhm.
please remember how to speak to people in the real world, right? And she goes up to them and they were like so excited to be, like recognized for the characters and all that. And they did the 10 pull and she came back. She's like, "We didn't get anybody cool, but we got like the character that they were cosplaying as, so that was fun, right?" And I was like,
Oh, that's cool, yeah.
so I was like, "Okay, like, it's a lot of fun." Right? And, like, that's the type of, like, experience and joy that can come out of conventions, right?
Mhm.
Like, and seeing that through her eyes was really great because here she is just a fan of this thing and appreciating cosplay and she wanted a cosplay and she did cosplay, right? So it's like all this stuff. And that's why I think conventions can be really great, right? And um, if you're lucky and or you stand online long enough, right, you get to try different things, right? I know now the Pragmata demo is on Steam, but I got to play that back in October because it was at New York Comic Con, and I
Mhm.
was like, yeah, I'm gonna go stand online. I'm gonna do this thing, right? And like those are. Those are things that you can do ahead of time and be like, "Hey, I got to play this game and everybody's waiting for it and now it's finally December and you can try it out." So, I think that's like the joy and the beauty. But they are expensive, so get your mug and make sure that you save your money on your
Yep.
drinks.
Yep. When we went to C2E2, I was not expecting what it was
Mhm.
and how overwhelming it was. I have a little bit of a agoraphobia, like, in the
Mhm.
sense of, like, walking down Artist Alley,
Mhm.
how many times my butt was accidentally touched, and I was like, "Oh."
Mhm.
But I got to meet some super cool artists, um, Butts on Stuff Butts
Okay.
and Stuff. Have you ever seen his work?
I don't think
He
so.
draws so he'll do a drawing a day, and it's a butt on a pop culture reference.
Okay.
Uh I have a R2D2 with a butt on it, um, Link's shield with a butt on it, a D&D dice with a butt on it. Um, in my kitchen, I have a wall full of coffee art of just from different artists, and it's a coffee mug with a butt.
Nice.
Like,
Nice.
so, the people you see online and actually see in person.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
um the we're huge Star Wars fans. We all know this.
What? No,
The
I would
voice
have never
actors,
guessed. No way.
the voice ac the voice actors for Rebels, um, got to see them. I think the only person that wasn't there was, the person who plays, Ezra.
Oh, okay.
I think Ezra was the only voice that wasn't there. Um, but to just see, I think it's just a different world, different realm.
Mhm.
Um, Chad Michael Murray got to say "Go Bills," so it was our first con, and then we went to a smaller con that was in our area, and we brought our kiddo, and it wasn't as like, I don't there was a different feeling about it
Oh,
because, there
100%.
was
Yeah.
like, the panels weren't like famous people that you saw. It was just normal people in your area talking about, "Hey, here's some TTRPGs you should play,"
Mhm.
and things like that. But there was a person walking around with tiny little Pokemon, and they came up to my daughter and asked them, "Hey, pick your starter Pokemon." And that started her Pokemon journey. Like, from then going on, she was obsessed with Pokemon. So, whether it's a big con or a small
Mhm.
con,
Yeah.
go,
That's
go.
the I think if you are not sure if you are a con person, find a local con first, right?
Mhm.
Like, yes, it's not gonna have the star-studded celebrities or whatever, right? But take a look at that, right? Is it, you know, do you find joy in looking at the different art that's on display, right? Do you find it exciting hearing people talk about their passions and their work, right? Because yes, obviously you can listen to celebrities talk about their passion and work or whatever, but you could open up a browser on the internet and find that too, right? So it's different when you're hearing like local or local-ish people, right? Maybe even local celebrities if you want to, call them that. And then see like what else what else they're doing there because local cons I have been fortunate enough to be part of local conventions. Um I've done a I've done a few of them as part of a Star Wars costuming group that I was a part of, Saber Guild, right? So I've been able to see some of the behind the scenes of some of these local conventions as well as like go to these, right? And it is so wonderful when like you see like families and kids who are like so excited because they're getting to explore a fandom in a safe like environment, right? And not that the bigger cons aren't safe environments, but if you're a younger kid, like walking through these big crowds might be too much, right? Doing these things might be too much. Um, so we used to as part of the Star Wars group, we did a Padawan Training Institute, right? And that was like a show that we would do 2 to 3 times, a day at a convention. And we would have Jedi who would get kids, usually under the age of 12, and, you would, as a parent, sign them up. They would come, we'd give them training sabers and a spot to stand on, and we would teach them very basic moves. Right? And then if we had enough Sith, we would which is normally what I did, we would have the Sith come out to attack the Jedi, right? But it wasn't that we were gonna fight necessarily just the Jedi who were training. We were gonna let the kids, like, repel us off, right?
Mm, mhm.
So, if you had 4 lines of kids, you would get, 4 lines of, the Sith or, you'd condense them down. You'd have the different Jedi who help, like, get them around, and they would practice the moves that they just did against, like, whatever Sith they're facing, right? So
Mhm.
it would be very much like, okay, like strike them this way and now left and over the head and repel them back, right? And then we as the Sith would fall back, right? And you would see parents who are like recording this whole thing and they're like watching their kid embrace this thing that obviously the parent loves, right? And now their
Mhm.
kid is getting a chance to go into this. Um, and obviously the Sith would always fail and the Sith would fall back and we'd be like, we'll be back for you next time. Right. And then, we disappear into our, little caves and stuff like that. And the kids would get like a round of applause. And they'd get to take pictures with the people. And, for a lot of those kids, they are seeing like Jedi and Sith. They are seeing characters that they might see on a TV show or in a video game, right? They're not concerned about it's a celebrity or not a celebrity, and that's an exciting thing
Mhm.
for a kid, right?
100%.
And then if you're taking pictures with them, like I have pictures that I took with kids at like baseball games that we were at and different conventions um and that's why I think like trying it out. And if you find joy in those little moments, right? Then try a bigger convention knowing that there will be a lot of crowds, but,
Yeah.
you might still have also some of those smaller moments of joy, like, Saber Guild does do the PTI, Padawan Training Institute at New York Comic Con as well, right? That's something that's, like, done every year. So you still will see some of these, like, smaller level aspects at a bigger convention,
Mhm.
um, but you'll also then get to see, "Oh, here's this celebrity talking about" whatever they're talking about. Um,
Yeah.
if you're lucky, you'll get some good giveaways. Uh, I still have some stuff from Comic-Con when Netflix gave out stuff. Netflix gave out vinyls of Blue Eyed Samurai, like the music, and I was like, "Holy crap!" Like this is like
Yeah.
so I have that. I have posters from the day. Uh, like Tom Clancy's the anime that they just put out. Like I have a poster from that. Like, I mean, they gave out some good swag. I'm not gonna lie.
Mhm.
Not everybody does. The swag has definitely gone down over the years. But you can get some nice goodies and spend a little bit of money. And if you want to meet the celebs, I have some fun stories from meeting celebs. Um, Sometimes you find them just walking the hall. That was how the conversation with Ben Starr went. Sometimes you do the meet and greets, right? But it's really what you make of it. Um, but I do think if you're not 100% sure, start small and then work your way up because it can be a lot. It absolutely can be.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm an extrovert. I like people. I like getting lost in crowds. Like I'm good with all that. Totally acknowledge that that's not for everybody though.
I think my problem is, just the perfect storm of things.
Mhm.
Hot, overstimulated, crowds, uh,
Odors.
hunger, yeah, odor, hunger.
Mhm.
You put them all in this little I don't want it. I don't
Yeah.
want it.
No, the best freebie that I saw, I think it was New York Comic Con. It was either New York Comic Con or PAX Unplugged. I still have this sitting here, because I haven't known what to do with it. There were so many people giving out these. It's just men's deodorant, and it was just spray deodorant, and they were like, "Oh, do you need" so they had a stand, but they also had people, like, around the convention, uh, just giving them out. 72-hour odor protection, long enough for a convention, weekend convention. Uh and I didn't know what it was at first, so, like, they were just I was like, "Oh, sure, what is this?" And then I was like, "Oh." I was like, "Well, you know what? It's a perfect travel size. Maybe one day, like, I'll be like, I don't wanna buy a whole deodorant. I don't care if I smell like a dude for a few days. I'm
I
in."
wear dude deodorant.
Yeah,
I don't
I don't
I don't
care,
care.
as long as I just don't stink. That's the goal.
Yeah. See, like, my husband and I were one of the things that we, funny enough, connected I guess we didn't really connect on until we, like, met in person, but we wear the same deodorant.
If it
I don't
works, it works.
I mean, you buy a 2-pack, you each get one,
That's true.
like, that's it.
Listen, ain't nothing wrong with
That's
that.
it. I mean, I don't d deodorant isn't gendered,
No.
so that's my opinion. One just smells florally, one
Mhm.
just smells I don't know what would the term would be.
I don't know. I just I don't
Alpine Fresh.
yeah, I just like ones that smell clean. I don't care what the clean is. Like,
Mhm.
I don't love when they smell, like, super floral. Um, like, I'm
Yeah.
very much like, "Can it just smell like baby powder or, like, fresh scent or, like,
Mhm.
very neutral?" I'm just trying
I want
not
it
to
to
smell
smell
like
like it
onions.
works.
Yeah, like, I'm
I
trying not
want
to
it
smell
to
like
smell
onions,
like
bro.
it
Mhm,
works.
mhm,
I wouldn't even care if it was a chemical smell, as long as it works.
mhm.
That's what I
That's
needed.
it. That's all I need.
Yep. Mhm.
So that's how I see it. But obviously some people love their scents, and that's fine, right? Enjoy
I
your
mean, they
scents.
did come out with, what was it? Native brand just came
Mhm.
out with some fun I don't uh,
I
what
don't
was
know
it? They just came
which
out with
ones
some
they
fun
came out with.
brands.
I just know
It
that
was
I see
they
the
were fun.
commercials and it's
It
just
was
like, "It's
boba.
native."
They came out with boba
Okay.
themed.
Okay.
They have coconut ube and brown sugar and strawberry matcha, berry
Interesting.
blossom. I mean, I don't know if I want my armpits to smell like something I ingest, but
Yeah. I I feel like those are too far for me. I'm like, those sound nice as like candles, as like
mhm.
body
Yep.
sprays.
Yeah. I
That
just
might
want it
be
to
too
smell
much.
like I'm not gonna smell like beef and cheese for a couple
Mhm. Mhm. 100%.
uh, mhm.
Yeah. No, that's and especially like I mean, now I don't, but like when I used to work in restaurants and stuff like that, I did not want like flowery smells or all these other smells because I'm like
Mhm.
then I'm smelling this with like food smells and I was like, no, this is too much and I can't do it. So,
Mhm. I'm
yeah.
always petrified I stink.
So you want like
Like,
the Mhm.
I okay, and this is gonna make me sound so I always wear perfume.
That's
Like,
fair.
I have perfume on every floor of the house, like, I'm that type of person that, like, I smell good, and someone told me one day, they're like, "You're gonna walk in and you're gonna give people a headache," and I was like, "Yeah, but I'll also give people repulsive if I smell." Like, I'm just petrified of smelling, I don't know.
I think it also depends on what the scent is though, because there are some things that I'm like, "Oh, that is very strong and, like,
Yeah.
aggressive." And then I think, like that's why I like the clean scents too, because 'cause I'm like, a clean scent will, like, feel
Oh, yeah.
like it's not gonna repel someone so much, right? It's not gonna bother them
Yeah.
so much. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and you do not like, you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna sound like a freak or whatever." Like, "Bro, I just pulled out this at my desk." Like, what are you talking
I mean, what are the most obscure things on your desk? That's a great question. D yeah,
The most obscure I'm
I've
looking
got
at my desk and I'm like, "What is the most obscure
oh,
thing at
do
my
you wanna
desk
see
right now?"
weird?
Alright,
This has
let
been on
me
my desk for, like, 2 months because I ate avocado toast,
Yum.
and I
Okay.
forgot to put this back upstairs. It's not been missed. It has not been missed,
Yeah.
so
I'm like, "What do
it'll
I
sit
have?" That's like I mean, I feel like everything here is fairly standard. Well, okay. It's like I have my medicine here because I like, especially if I sit here. Wig.
it is, a Chet Chet wig? Uh, what is it? Success. Um, what's his he's on, TikTok, and
I'm so bad at TikTok.
it's your birthday,
Mhm.
uh oh, someone's gotta know what I mean.
Someone will know and
Uh,
they'll tell us in the comments.
what is it?
Alright, I
Do
think
it,
I know what
lady, on your birthday.
Yeah,
I don't know,
I'm
I
not on
dressed my
TikTok
dog
that
up.
much because 'cause I'm an
That
old
was my
person.
dog's Halloween costume. She was Chit from TikTok.
Oh my god, I love that. Alright, I think
So
the weirdest thing on my desk right now is besides the deodorant that I whipped out so easily, um, is probably this crown because this isn't even the
okay.
one that I wore, when we recorded my birthday episode. Um, this was actually a gift from someone in my D&D party.
Mhm.
Um, in our D&D campaign, we, like, all had these, like, paths that we took, and my character became queen of the like area that we saved.
Mhm.
So as like part of our final session when we did like an epilogue ep- episode, we don't record this; we do this just for ourselves. This was like one of the gifts that I got. However, that character has made a reappearance in our new campaign. She is still queen. Um, but I was playing a game yesterday about a queen and I was streaming it and I was like, oh, like if I become queen during stream, I'll put this on for the rest of the stream or whatever. I did not, but I think I am gonna take it. We're playing D&D tonight because the holidays. So I may take it and see if it brings some good luck. Because
I love that.
our group is supposed to go up against Vecna. I don't know if that's today or
Oh,
if we're making our way to Vecna, but it's wish us luck. Hopefully the queen does not die on this adventure.
no. And speaking of Vecna, the Stranger Things coming to DVD,
Mhm. Mhm.
um, how do you think they're going to keep them separated? Because we already have Vecna from Dungeons& and
Yeah.
Dragons, but Vecna from Stranger Things is also called Vecna.
I mean, I think one of the things is when you look at the character itself, I don't I they do refer to it as Vecna, but I think they also call him the Lich, right? So,
Mhm.
like, the character itself is the Lich and not Vecna.
Yeah.
Um, so I could see them trying to give the Stranger Things Vecna, like, a different name, and then I could also see in as they reference it, instead of calling him Vecna, I could see them calling him Henry. I could see them, like, referring to it as Henry. I could almost even see them referring, to it as one, right? Especially if, like, maybe you brought 11 in as a survivor, right? You have 1 versus 11. Um, so I could see that in certain spaces. But yeah, I think right now they just call the D&D Vecna the Lich. Um Oh, you're muted.
I coughed and didn't want
No, that's fine.
um, yeah, he's also referenced as Vecna, I believe, in some of the lore stuff.
Yeah.
Um, maybe they refer to him as Mr. Whatsit.
Ooh, they could do Mr. What's It. Yeah. Spoilers if you haven't seen Stranger Things yet.
Yeah.
I will
Um,
what time step are we at? 37 minutes. I'll make sure to put some Stranger Things spoiler warning.
okay.
But yeah, I could see him being Mr. What's It.
Mhm.
There's a few different ways that they could definitely do it because I could also see, I could see them giving different skins. Also, totally unrelated, or not totally unrelated. Just pulling away from DBD for a second. Uh, Jamie Bauer Campbell, or whatever his name is, the one who plays Henry.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um, he did a one night only thing at the
I
Stranger
saw
Things
that.
musical, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Or not? Not. It's not a musical. It does have music, but it's not a musical, although it has music. But I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Of course. Like I've seen the show. I think it's stage play wise, the
Yeah.
effects are amazing, and if you like technical effects and you are in the New York City area, I highly recommend, especially if you're a Stranger Things fan. If you're not a
Mhm.
Stranger Things fan and you want like a really intense, good story, it's probably not the show for you. The story is good. I'm not saying that the story is not good, but it very much is contingent on like Stranger Things as a whole. Um,
Mhm.
but the effects, especially in the first act, were like, oh my God. Um, and then to see that he was there, like, playing
Yeah.
Henry, I
No
was like,
one knew till
"Oh,
he turned around, right? Yeah.
yes." I was like, "That's so cool." And, uh, the guy who's playing Papa, right? And again, this is a little bit spoilery, although not as bad. The guy who's playing Papa on the stage show right now, which we did see that with him in it, he is the soldier that Hopper and Eleven captured and were going into
Mm.
his brain. Because we're sitting there, we're like, he looks so familiar. He looks so familiar. And then like, I'm going down the rabbit hole and I was like, "Holy shit, he's the guy who played Papa when we saw, like, the show." I was like, "That's so cool." I was like, could you imagine it going from, like, one Stranger Thing role to, like, another role and, like, there are people
Yeah.
who probably don't even realize? I was like, "That's so cool."
Um, what's his name? The actor who plays, uh, Henry,
Mhm.
he was in Sweeney Todd, wasn't he?
Yep.
Okay. That's where I know his face is.
Joanna. Yep.
I was like, "Where do I see his face from?" And I had to go like, you flip through, like, "Where have I seen him? Where have I seen him? Where have I seen him?"
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he played
Okay.
the one in Love with Joanna. I haven't seen that
Yeah.
movie in a long time, but yeah, I was like, "I can't believe he did this freaking show," and of course it's and it was like a one night thing, but I was like, "That's so cool." Like,
Yeah.
if you're in that audience and you see that, that's, like, unreal.
Especially because if you're going to see that show, you're most likely a Stranger Things fan.
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I
That
guess
was
every
really
time he
cool.
talked, people were cheering every word he said, like, they were like so, that's just what I saw from the TikTok.
Mhm.
The TikTok. They're
I
so
I
old.
listen, you're at least you're on there. I saw it on Instagram. So, I mean,
Oh,
not that there was a little bit of a delay because it was such big news, and I follow a lot of
mhm.
different, like, Broadway Instagram accounts.
Yeah.
But really, really cool for people who got to see that, and I was just like I was so jealous because when we saw it, we we do a lot of lottery entries for Broadway stuff
Mhm.
because we're just so close. Um, so we won the lottery tickets to see the show. You still have to pay a little bit, but it's really not that bad. And we ended up front row. So we're like front row for everything, which
Wow.
in some ways is like really terrifying. In some ways, I'm not gonna say detrimental, but some of the effects probably would have been even cooler further back. Although even being front row, I couldn't tell you how they did any of it. Like I literally could not find the wires for certain things and the lighting, like, it's that good if you are, like, a technical stage person. Um, I cannot explain it because I am not a technical stage person like that. I just,
Mhm.
I thought it was really, really cool. Um, but I highly recommend if you're a Stranger Things fan, and I think it does help with some of the lore and stuff that is built in this most recent season, um, because you're seeing that uh, there is a moment where they look at like a flyer for the show that Joyce is putting on. And that's a pretty central part in the stage play, right? So it does really
Mhm.
feed into each other very well, which is pretty cool.
I love when things do crossover, but I know that what you have to remember about the Broadway show is despite its existence, it is not like, you can't take what you've learned in the Broadway show, like, if it's off from the show and kind of bring like, what a lot of people do is, like okay, so I I do, freelance for a theater company in the area,
Hmm.
and I run all their social media. So, they did Little Women not too long ago, and you can't compare the Little Women movie
Hmm.
to the book
Yeah.
and expect it to be lore or canon. Because a lot of times in one or the other, some things for dramatic purposes,
Hmm.
it's not parallel. So the show is actually the I can't think of words today.
Yeah. No,
The
I think that's
yeah.
I get what you're saying. I think the interesting thing with this is that even though the stage play was written by somebody else with, like, the
Mhm.
blessing of, Duffer, is that who did? I was trying
The
to look up.
Duff Brothers?
Yeah,
Is
um,
that who it
I
is?
think they have come out and said that it is technically canon, which there's 1 or 2 things that it's like, when you say it's canon, it kinda conflicts with something else that happened, but not like a big none of it is big, right? Like, some of the stuff that, uh, happens in it, it is Some of the stuff that happens in it that is, like, a weird little thing that you're like, "Oh, this goes against canon." It's such, like, a small detail, and it's
Yeah.
usually about someone who doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
But they did come out and say that this was canon, which was an interesting move, and I guess that's why they've incorporated more of it into season 5, but I almost feel like it it feels like a weird thing to do only because there are so many people that are never gonna get to see it on stage, right? But if you do get to see it on stage, I do think you shouldn't compare it necessarily one for one to the show. Um, I think you should take it as it is. Does it add to certain things? Yes, absolutely. But does it mean that one has to feed into the other? No. I mean, that would be like saying the Spider-Man musical that was out for a while had to feed into Spider-Man lore, which God knows that Broadway musical was a hot mess with people falling from the stages and things like that. So take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. 100%. I think that refers to most things too.
Hmm.
Like take uh
Mamma mia.
Mamma Mia, take I see it in my head. It's right here. I just haven't downloaded it yet to play it. And my favorite person in the entire world's in it. Last of Us. Take
Mm-hmm.
Last of Us. Some things were dramatized for the TV show.
Yeah, 100%. And that's
As much
that's
as
okay.
Yeah, and as much as they've stuck to major plot lines, there are always gonna be things that they add and
Hmm.
take away for dramatization.
Yeah. Some things are going to work better on a TV show. Some things are going to work better on a stage play. I mean, some things are going to work better in video games, right? That's like
Mhm,
the Walking Dead universe with like the telltale, like what's connected, what's not connected, what's canon, what's not canon, right? Like, the Star Wars games, what's canon, what's not canon, right? Like
mhm.
all of those things. Um,
Oh, yeah.
so
The
always
Star
take
Wars
it with a grain of
universe is
salt.
very difficult to try to figure out what's canon, what's not canon. Mara Jade, is she not? Do
Hmm.
gray Jedis exist?
Hmm.
All of those things.
Listen, at this point, I'm convinced that Mara Jade is canon, just not in the way that she was in the extended universe. Like
Okay.
clearly, clearly we don't see her in the movies, right? Doesn't see
Mhm,
spoiler if you do know this. Clearly her and Luke not Endgame because Luke clearly died all by himself, attached to the Force. Um,
maybe
you
Mara
know.
Jade is the Force.
I'm just saying it's a different iteration of Mara Jade, but I think somewhere in there I think she exists. You know, I I wish that all the Star Wars things were good, but I think Andor is the best thing they put out in the last 10 years.
I will 100% agree with that.
Andor so so good.
I Okay, so I have a really hard time paying attention to things if they're longer than half an hour. That's why The Office and, the Parks and Rec are, like, my go-tos because they're quick little niblets, and then I'm on
Mhm.
off. I'm done. So, Andor was the first thing in a really long time that I sat and I was sat, like, for, um, I from start to finish of the episode, you know, there was nothing that I wasn't, you know I'm just and, um, excuse me, um, Rogue One is my favorite Star Wars
So
movie.
good. It's so
So,
good.
having a whole show based off of that was just so good. So, um,
Mhm.
yeah.
We
If you
saw
have
Rogue One with my sister-in-law and
Mhm,
her husband. She is not a Star Wars fan.
okay.
So we walked out of that movie and we were all like, "What a great movie, blah blah blah." And she turns around to us. She's like, "I just didn't expect everybody to die." And we all had this moment of like, haha, because clear like as people who have watched Star Wars and enjoy it, like
Mhm,
clearly we know. that these people did not make it to episode 4, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
here's her like, "I didn't expect that." And we're like, "Mhm." It's just,
'Cause,
like, very funny.
if these aren't spoilers, by the way, if y'all these
It's
specifically aren't
old enough.
spoilers.
Come on.
Yes, because it's that bringing episode 3 into
Mhm.
4. It's that and Andor answers a lot of questions.
Mhm.
A
Yes.
lot of questions. Um, I I love, why can't I think of names and
Because
places?
because 'cause we're recording on a
Uh,
Monday, that's why.
I know, I think that's why. Plus I'm on
Mhm.
Dayquil. That's probably a thing too. Um, the club episode,
Oh, yes. Mhm.
probably my favorite episode. My partner said I would straight up listen to that music all the time.
John does straight up listen to that music. We were folding laundry, and it was playing yesterday while we were folding laundry, and he was like, "Imagine just, being at this club dancing and your daughter is getting married away for political reasons." We're just like,
But,
"This is what we're
if
listening
you
to. This is where we
haven't
are."
if if you have not watched any Star Wars, I'm going to say watch Rogue One and then or no, watch Andor and then
And
watch
then
Rogue
Rogue
One.
One. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because that's
agreed.
what we do every year. We did all of the movies once for May the 4th. It was a weekend. It was during COVID. That's
Oh,
why
that's the
we did
time to
it.
do it. Yep. Mhm.
And we watched all 11 movies because there's 11. There's 1, 2, 3. You've got Solo, you've got Rogue One, you've got 4, 5, 6, and then you've got 7, 8, 9. Um, we did a drink and a food item for
Okay.
each movie. Dude, I'll never do that again. I was
I said that
ambitious. It
sounds
was
like a
COVID.
lot.
We had like Wookiee cookies and Pad Thai. Um,
Okay.
I had a drink called the Camino, and it was like the blue water.
Mhm.
I was really inventive back then. Now I'm probably not as. And then now we're just like, okay, do we want to rewatch this or watch that? It's never the movies anymore. It's like, do you want to watch Rebels or
Mm. That's fair. No, that's so fair. You know,
so?
um, I haven't done like a rewatch of all the movies. I mean, it would be a lot, and I think it would be hard to sit through some
Mhm.
of it. But I think the shows are so solid. Um, yeah, I will say I don't have a good way to transition to this, but I know that we're like 50 minutes in and we haven't even gotten to your fantasy guess. I feel like we just
Oh my
did
god.
skits in reverse.
Oh my god.
Skits,
Yeah. We
segments,
talked about
segments.
everything.
Yeah, we and I was literally looking, I'm like, has this person been in anything even slightly Star Wars related? And I'm like,
I don't
no.
know. I don't think so. Probably not.
I was like, no, why not,
Um,
bro? What? But obviously not everybody wants to be in Star Wars, and that's fine.
I mean, he was in Parks and Recreation, which we have talked about today.
Mhm.
So, my fantasy guess is Jason Schwartzman, which he is the voice of Gideon Graves in Scott Pilgrim versus World.
Mhm.
Well, not the voice, he's the person who plays, but I guess he's the voice in
In the animated
the cartoon.
that they
Yeah,
did.
he's the
Mhm.
cartoon version. Um, he's also in Hunger Games: Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. He
Mhm.
played what was it? Um,
I haven't
Sparkle.
watched it. I haven't watched it yet.
I I haven't either.
He also was actually a voice in a game that I did not know this game existed. But looking through it, I'm like, I would be interested, but I think because it's a platformer, I might also rage a little bit. Um,
Mhm.
because he was the voice of Zom in Alien, apparently, in The
Mm.
Artful Escape, which is a platform game where the player is moving across a musical infused landscape, which
Mm.
I think is cool, but I'm just like, ooh, platformers, they drive me a little bonkers. It was
I don't
published
like
by
platformers
Annapurna.
either.
Yeah, I'm just bad at them, right? So that's why.
Mhm.
Um, w- we have seen a lot of Annapurna games, really like
Yeah, there's a sale
feel like
going on right
reach new
now, I
heights.
believe.
There is, but I feel like Annapurna has put out some huge, huge games. Um, especially like the last few years, I feel like there have been things that people have really like looked at and wanted to mention. Like I know Bounty Star was one. Um, we talked about this game last time. Lush Foil
Mhm.
Photography Sim. They're the ones who published it, right? Um,
Yeah.
they've published a lot. So I don't know how like this was kind of, I don't know, not fully on my radar, but um
Yeah.
so he voiced an alien. But I think it's interesting it's a musical game because like you
And
said he
that's
was the drummer for
of, Phantom Planet.
yes.
He was also the frontman, I believe, of Coconut Records, which is actually one of my favorite bands. But if you don't know who Phantom Planet is, if you ever watched the OC, the opening theme song to the OC.
Mhm.
Um,
California,
yep,
here we
that's it.
come. I don't, sorry, I'm
Yep.
not going to sing the whole thing because I'll just make people's ears bleed. Um,
Um, excuse me. He was also in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. He played Gag.
mhm. It's interesting that, he's done things that are like adjacent to games, because I'm thinking like
Mhm.
Scott Pilgrim, but has only really done one one game. So, and I wonder if like that's just not a thing he's been super interested in, or if maybe it's like if the right thing came up, like would he do another game that is
Yeah.
somewhat musical? Like, I mean,
I
he's had
could
a
see him
long
involved
career.
in some sort of musical fighting game, which
Hmm.
is which is really weird. Like he's composed a whole bunch of stuff too.
Yeah, I could see him composing
Um,
music for a game,
mhm.
right? I mean, and Scott Pilgrim definitely has had games. I don't know if they've
Yeah.
had any voice acting. Um,
Yeah, that's why I'm apparently he was supposed to be cast as the male lead in the film Trolls,
oh,
but Justin Timberlake took it over instead.
well, that's gonna ruin the world tour.
Yeah. His cousin is Nicolas Cage.
Who is in Dead by Daylight, and I didn't realize they were related, and I didn't realize that he was
Mhm.
part I knew Nick Cage was part of the Coppola lineage. I didn't realize that
Mhm.
Jason Schwartzman was.
Yeah. Jason Schwartzman also has a brother, I believe.
Yes.
Is it his brother?
That Coppola family
Um,
is pretty big, all things considered.
yeah. His son's Robert. I think that's his name, Robert, and he was the love interest in the first Princess Diaries,
Mhm,
also in the band Rooney.
mhm. There's yeah,
So,
there's a just a lot of them. Um, okay, do you think oh my god, I don't think this would happen because I feel like, Jason Schwartzman is more serious. Could he be
mhm.
in Dead by Daylight? And you could run oh my god, could you imagine running, like, just the Coppola family as survivors in Dead by Daylight?
I think my honest opinion is Jason Schwartzman would be the voice of Dwight.
Ooh,
If they
okay,
actually had voice lines, Jason Schwartzman could be the voice of Dwight.
okay.
He gives me Dwight vibes,
I could
100%.
see that. I could see that.
Um, I could see him play a live action. Dead by Daylight comes to an actual movie, Jason Schwartzman.
I could see that. Oh my god, what if they there's the, dating sim, like, the visual novel dating sim. What if they
Mhm.
actually gave Dwight, like, voice lines and it was him?
Yes. I could see that because he he has this nerdy vibe. He's just got this nerdy vibe. If you if you watch Parks and Rec, he's in I don't remember which season, but he plays a the owner of the movie, like basically the rental place.
Mhm.
And he actually did that right after, I believe, Scott Pilgrim. So it wasn't far along after that. But he was in Parks and Rec and he played that character. Um, and my husband and I watched it the other night, so that's why it's fresh in my mind and that's why I thought of him. Because I was like, I forgot he played Dennis. And when I saw him, I was like, oh yeah, that guy. So that sent me on a spiral. So that's why he is my choice for today. Now, I wish he has done more voice acting because I feel like he would be great.
He has
Um,
done it for movies, right?
yeah,
So he has he has the experience of doing it, right?
yeah,
So
hmm,
it's not like he's never done it. I will say not as much, although he is the voice of the Spot in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
yes,
So I almost wonder if we well, if we ever get the rest of those movies. But if we ever get those characters, like, in a game, would he, come back and maybe do that, right?
yeah,
Again, because he's done these, like, game adjacent things, right?
hmm,
So it's like, would you continue to reprise those roles, right? Or would there be a role that maybe he's waiting for to dive back into video games, right? Like, because I do think at some point, you know, some actors I think do get to a point where they're like, I still want to do film, TV, whatever, but there is also the toll of I have to travel to this place, I need to be away from family, I need to do this, I need to do that, right?
yeah,
Totally heard, totally get. So, like, would you do more voice acting? Because that's just going into a studio somewhere, right? And if he lives, you know, in a place that has a lot of voice acting, not voice acting studios, but like recording studios, it's like, well, then you may be able to do that there. So it's like, could we see like a shift in his career where it becomes more voice acting? Um,
yeah,
if there was a role, not Dwight, right? If there was
uh-huh.
any role that you could recast him in a video game, what role would you plug him into? Like,
Oh
what's one that
gosh,
you think like this is a role that maybe he was like born for? And I guess maybe it doesn't have to be recast, but like either a game that doesn't have voice acting or like something that you're like, this is a role that like he's basically built for or has the vocal talent for.
Baby Steps, a game that came out this year. Have you played Baby Steps?
No, I'm not going to because I will throw my controller across the room.
Okay, so you can find my review over on Gamer Social Club. But I got to play Baby Steps earlier in the year.
Brave.
And I will tell you, this person gives Dwight vibes.
Okay.
So, like, the nerdy, like, doesn't feel like they're doing much with their life. And that's, I feel like that's very Jason Schwartzman because it's kind of like unsure of themselves, kind of puns type of person.
Okay.
But I feel
Yeah.
like he could have played the voice for that.
Fair. Fair.
Yeah.
So looking into 2026, he
Yeah.
is one of the fantasy guests that you would love to see on the podcast.
Yeah. Mostly because I'm was like obsessed the type of music he
Fair.
made. It's just that's just my vibe. But um I like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, one of my favorite movies. I feel like Jason Schwartzman's just funny. I would like to see him in more.
I think that's super valid. So if we want him as a fantasy guest for 2026, what else do we want to see in 2026 gaming wise? Like what are you waiting for? What are you looking forward to? Like what
Oh,
is
this is really, really hard.
I know.
Number one, I want to see a niche gaming awards.
Well, you're gonna put one on. We already decided that last
Yes.
episode.
So yes, that's probably my number one. I want to see something that actually dethrone some other games.
Okay.
I want to see a game that actually gives another game a run for its money. I want to see something that gives The Sims
Mhm.
a run for its money. Onzoy, we thought it was gonna be okay. Let's rewind that. I didn't not gonna say we because I thought it was gonna be a game that I was gonna enjoy,
Mhm.
and when in reality, I didn't like it.
Fair.
I didn't really like it. I felt it was too rigid and just it wasn't giving me Sims or
Mm. Mhm.
and it compared itself to such. Um, what's coming out? Paralives. Supposed to come out this month. Unfortunately, it got pushed back
Mhm.
to May.
Right.
Um, it's been on my radar since 2020, 2021. It's been on my wish list. I checked this morning. It's been on my wish list since 2021.
Mm.
So if 2026 is the year it comes out, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it to give something to give The Sims and EA a run for their money.
Valid. Yeah.
And I know that's a lot of weight to put on one game, but I feel like Paralives could do it.
I think
So,
that's I think that's fair. I think it's I think it's one of those things where it's good to have that competition because then it
mhm,
puts the onus on both of those games to continue to like step it up. And I think
mhm.
not that The Sims is bad or has
No.
gotten bad, right? I'm not gonna say it's gotten bad, but it hasn't had to be as innovative as I think it once was because it hasn't had that level of competition.
Yep. And I feel like it's just become stagnant because it can.
Yes. 100%.
Releasing a and this is not slander because we all know that my most played game of the last 3 years was friggin' Sims, over 1,500 hours. Um, you can't just keep putting out small packs of items to
Mhm.
play in game
You mean
and not f
SpongeBob isn't enough for you? But you can look like you live in Bikini Bottom. That's not enough?
that crossover was wild, let me tell you. Let me tell you, when I saw that that was a crossover, I was like, "Do you listen to what people want for The Sims? We want a working game. The
I
packs we
no.
have spent $40 on to work. Um, it's we want weddings to work." Um,
What? Nah.
but you can't just keep putting out these, like, accessory packs and these item packs and expect us to continue to like the game.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
gotta fix your broken stuff, which they have over the last, month or so. I've seen them fix some things, but I need something.
Mhm.
If you're not gonna give me Sims 5, you need to do something a little bit more invasive, especially invasive. I You
Innovative.
need to
I
do
got
something
you.
to wow me. Yes, you need to do something to wow me or I'm gonna get bored.
Yeah, that's so valid.
Um, what else? I don't my gaming is so niche. You got my very cozy that I, like,
Mhm.
gravitate to, but then when I wanna be a gremlin, I've got DVD and Phasmo and things like that.
Gremlin mode
Um,
activate.
yeah. I wanna go back to and this is what I'm looking forward to 2026, is playing games that I didn't think I would be playing.
Okay.
I tried Skyrim for the first time this year.
Mhm.
Um, what else did I play? I just bought The Witcher 2 and 3 that I'll
Okay.
be playing, which are not my type of games at all.
Mhm.
Um, Jedi Fallen Order, I picked that up. Since the last time we spoke, I picked that up. So that's the type of games that I think I wanna play. I'm not good with PvP and
Fair.
things like that. So but I found out I enjoy it from getting so deep into Skyrim.
Mhm.
So I think that's what's gonna be new for me, and it doesn't have to be a brand new game. It can
Yeah,
be a
yeah, yeah.
game that's 10, 15, 20 years old. I feel like I need to get into some of these games and try new things
I think
because I stick in
that's
my
fair.
realm, and that's really about it. And people will like what I found about the Game of the Year awards. I was like, I've seen people play them. I haven't played a single one of these games that have been up here,
Mhm.
and it was kind of like, ugh, well, why is that?
Mhm.
Is it because I don't take the chance on new games? Which is understandable because at a $60 price point, am I
Yeah.
really gonna drop on money on a game that I'm gonna be like, "Eh," about,
Mhm. Yeah.
if that makes sense?
No, I mean that's so valid. Have mentioned this on the podcast before, but there was an article where they basically said like even and I think we're still outside of this realm, but like there was an article where they were like, people in I think it was specifically the United States. I don't think it was like the Americas. Um maybe buy 2 new games a year. And it's like, yeah,
Mhm,
absolutely because at a $60 price point and now some of them even being $70, right? Who can afford to buy so many games, right? So
mhm,
I think some people are then buying older games, right? And I know there was another article recently that said this was like the year of like the least game purchases including hardware and stuff like that. And it's like, well, if you're not keeping up with the hardware, then you're also not buying the new games because you
mhm,
can't play some of them on the older hardware, right? And if you're not a PC gamer, right, then you're not getting the advantage of like the Steam sales and like all of that.
mhm.
So I think there's a lot of people that are afraid to try a new game at $70 a pop, right? Especially
Yeah,
when it's like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy a new console." Well, I could buy the PlayStation 5 with the disc drive, or I buy the one that's digital only, and that's like, 70 bucks cheaper or whatever it is, right?
yeah,
But then that also means you can't walk into GameStop, buy a physical copy, and then return it
mhm,
or trade it in or whatever because now you only have digital, right? So
yep,
we've also negated that part of it. So not that you were ever getting great amounts at GameStop, but
yeah.
at least if you had over the years, here's like 10 games that I've played and now I don't want to play them anymore, right? Maybe
Mhm,
you got a game for like half of what you would have paid for it, right? Or
yeah,
whatever. Um, and now there's less and less of that happening too. And then that means you can't buy a used game because less people are trading in because they're buying digital, right? So you're stuck at that $67 price point or you're waiting.
yep. Because Nintendo games never go on sale,
Oh my God, so infrequently. It's ridiculous.
and I think that's a huge reason why I refuse to pick up the Switch too.
That's fair.
We're we're debating buying a well, I think we're not debating. We're going to. We're going to buy the Steam machine
Okay.
when it
Hmm.
when it releases. Um, like my husband and I were talking about, he's like, "Oh, I hope it comes out for Christmas," and I was like, "It's not gonna be here for Christmas."
Maybe
They dropped
Christmas
the ball on that one.
2026.
Yeah, I was like, they dropped the ball on releasing it for that, but um, I was like, "It will be here for your birthday if that's what you want." Like, and our daughter's getting into gaming, like we've spoken about before, and I think the Steam machine is just like 'cause we have a PlayStation 2 and the Wii U that has been since retired, and
Hmm.
then the
Hmm.
original Switch. Those are the extra gaming consoles we have besides our PCs, and so the Steam machine with how much he and I both have on our lists just seems like
Yeah.
and I know people are like, "Well, it runs like a PC, so but you already have a PC." Well, I can't sit at my couch and play on my PC,
Yes. Hmm.
and that's a huge thing that I wanna be able to do.
Yeah.
So,
No, absolutely. Absolutely. So 2026 seems like it will bring you out of your gaming comfort zone and
mhm.
on your couch with the Steam machine.
Yes, 100%. What about you?
Nice. I mean, there are definitely some games that I am very, very much looking forward to. Uh,
Mhm,
I think as a whole for 2026, um, I do want to continue playing different things and, continuing to complete games, whether that's, uh, like on stream or for myself or, whatever that looks like. Because very similar, looking at like the game awards, there were some games that I played, yes, right?
Mhm.
Um, but nowhere near as much. And even like, Expedition 33, uh, you know, took awards left, right, and center. And I'm like, I haven't played this game, right? And I am gonna play that. So, that's gonna be something I'm gonna try not to have too much of a backlog in 2026. So I really want to be mindful. Like if I buy a game, I want to play it and finish it and not just like buy it and then it sits there. Um, because that's another like big thing that happens. If it's free on Steam or Epic and I claim it, that
Mhm.
doesn't count. That can sit there for a bit. But if I actively like spend money on it, then I want to, be more mindful
Mhm.
about like playing it, finishing it. And there are a few games that I'm looking forward to for next year. Um, we don't have a release date for the new Danganronpa 2X2,
Mhm.
just 2026. I love Danganronpa. We've got actually both bears that are in the second one back here. Um, they watch over me every time I sit here, for better or worse, because one of them's a murderous bear, but that's okay. Um, so I'm really looking forward to that. One game that I didn't think that I would look forward to, but I am looking forward to now. Um, and this kind of goes back to the con talk that we were saying before. I am looking forward to Pragmata, which I wasn't sure about it until I played the demo. And I wasn't sure about it because I knew it was a shooter game, right? And I'm not great at shooters, but it
Mhm.
also has a puzzle aspect as you shoot and as the little girl helps you, right? And I'm like, that is very cool, right? So that
Mhm.
is not fully out of my comfort zone, but a little bit more moving away from it, moving into the shooter area, but still keeping that puzzle-ish piece to it. And I know that doesn't come out till April, so I guess I also have some time to rethink that. And see more of it, right? And see more of it. Um,
I think that, um, is a game personally, I is probably gonna end up in my trying new games because I do like puzzles, but
mhm.
it's the shooting aspect, it's the you know, that's why Fortnite and those types of games just
Yeah.
not my deal, but, like, Pragmata, the puzzle aspect is what drew me, and it's like, it
Mhm.
might not be a good shooter, but, eh.
But,
I played Resident Evil 7?
I played 4.
Biohazard?
Mm. Yeah, I think
I played Biohazard. This should be fine.
yeah, I'm like, this will be fine. So that's, trying that different thing. And then on the flip side, as far as games that are within my wheelhouse and that I will like play a lot of, or I anticipate playing a lot of, which also means that I will have to cave and get a Nintendo Switch 2 unless my parents find one at Dave and Buster's to cash in other Dave and Buster's points, is Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. I
Okay.
love the Fire Emblem games. I love tactical games. I played Final Fantasy Tactics this year, which was the first tactical game in that sort of realm that I'd ever played, and that was what introduced me to the Fire Emblem games, because I
Mhm.
was looking for something very much like that. It's why the 100 Line Academy is like my game of the year this year because it's that same sort of style of combat. And knowing that Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, which is due out sometime next year, is somehow related to Fire Emblem Three Houses, which was such an amazing game. I'm like, I need this game, right? Like, I will buy the Switch and I will buy this game in one shot. Like, I am going to, and I know I'm going to play the hell out of this game. When Three Houses came out, it came out on my birthday one year. Uh,
Mhm.
and I literally just laid in bed with my Switch, like, plugged in, like, on the charger and just played all like, that was my birthday. I was like until it was like, "Okay, we're gonna go out and do, dinner," or whatever it was, and I was like, "Alright, fine," and I put it down, and then I picked it back up, right? And it was like, I was hooked, loved it. So obviously I have high expectations for the new one. Um, I don't think that they're gonna let us down, right? I hope that we don't get let down. But I just think it's gonna be so good. It is like those are the games I'm looking forward to in 2026. And then like other sort of gaming related things, I'm looking forward to PAX, which is in March. Um, PAX East and trying out more games and everything from the big name games to the indie games, and seeing what people are putting out and how that's all going. Um, I love a good gaming con because you can try it out before buying it,
Mhm.
or add it to your wish list to add even more things to a Steam wish list, as if there's not hundreds of games on it already. Um, but I think for 2026, gaming wise, you know, that's really like the big things. And then, you know, in general things, I'm looking forward to continuing the podcast and having more people
Yeah.
join us, you know.
Mhm.
Um we'll have the Girl Pod Awards that we'll be doing.
Yeah.
So
Next
we'll get
couple
nice and
weeks, yeah.
fancy. Yeah, we'll get nice and fancy for that. Um, I think it'll be great to also have some more guests come on. Obviously, if we get a fantasy guest, that becomes a real guest, even better. Um, but I think it's also been really great having different guests, like different writers from GSC come on. Um, we keep saying we want Steve on it. So yes, Steve, this is another one of your invitations. Steve's like number one GSC fan. Uh, you
Yes.
know, number one
Maybe we
supporter.
could do an impromptu because Steve the 3 of us have played DBD together before,
hmm
so maybe we do an impromptu where we're interviewing Steve as he's actively trying to kill us in DBD. As
That would
Naughty
be
Bear.
so much fun. That
Yeah.
would be so much fun. But yeah, I think more of that because one of the things that I think has been really cool about having, different people on the show is like getting to know them a little bit more. Like even myself getting to know
Mhm.
them. But then I think anybody who does sit through the episode getting to know them like a little bit more and hearing the different gaming like perspectives that we all have. Because I think while there is overlap, there is also so much of that variety that we all bring. Um,
Mhm.
and I think especially as we think of Gamer Social Club as yes, it's a site and there's news and there's this other stuff, but it is also, a space for gamers to land, right? It is also meant to be a club, a community,
Mhm.
insert whatever word you want to put in for that, right? Giving the other writers a space to come on and just be, right? And to not be formal, right? It's not just
Mhm.
we need to talk about this thing or here's this. It's like, no, what do you want to talk about? Who's a fantasy guest? Who's this, right? Let's get some insight
Mhm.
into your personality. And I think that's a lot of fun. It's been fun for me to explore it. I hope that like, people who have listened have had fun getting to know those people, and obviously I hope the guests have had fun. I think Koopy's had fun because Koopy's like, "I'm ready to come back on."
I still have not been on an episode with Koopy, so
So we need to get you on an episode with Koopy. Um, but I would love to have more of the writers, editors, all that on the pod, and yes, it's girl pod, and we bring our perspectives every week. But we are also, it's not just for girls, right? It is
Mhm.
it is inclusive. We're just having a good time. It's just that your host happened to be, more of the, you know, girls, right? The girly pops, whatever term
Mhm.
you want to use, but obviously we're here for everyone, the guys, gals, the non-binary pals, the up, down, left, right, whatever. I was going to try to remember the Konami code and I lost it, so I just went with that. But, so I think expanding that more and having more people, some guest episodes is something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to more episodes because I got in here, like, October? Yeah, right
Yeah.
before Halloween.
Mhm.
So, I'm looking forward to growing with y'all and seeing what Girl Prod brings.
Yeah.
Because we've got so many ideas and so many manifestations.
Mhm.
and Pedro will be a guest one day.
You gotta put it out there.
He will. Either Pedro the flute or Pedro Pascal. One of them
We're
will
gonna get a
be.
Pedro.
We're gonna get a Pedro. One of them will be a guest on Girl Pod.
See, if you put it out in the universe will answer.
Hmm. He
But
hears me.
he's looking over with a smirk. He's like, "I'll think about it. Think about it."
Yep. Why do you think I have a shrine?
Because you manifest it. You're like, "Okay,
Yep.
here we go. Here we go." But yeah, I mean, I think that's like, you know, the the hope for and then obviously that the YouTube channel as a whole, continues to grow. And I know you have to work with the algorithm and blah 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 blah. Um, and that's fine. Um, and that the site continues to grow. The site, I think, has seen a lot of growth as a whole this year, which is really, really cool. Um, I know you've been with the site longer. I think I've been with it now like 13 months. Um, but even to see like when I joined and where it is now and like the different things that are happening on it and additional perspectives and additional writers and all of that I think is really cool and it has pushed me to try some different games for better or worse, right? Better or worse.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm excited to also see the site as a whole grow and where it goes and maybe one day we have like a whole uh I'm not gonna say worldwide thing because I know that's a lot. But maybe at least one day, like those of us in the States meet up the way that some of the I was about to say UK gang, but I know now I have to say like Europe gang. Because there's a bit more of them now. Um,
If you
and
guys don't know, like, we have people in the US,
yep,
Canada, we have
Australia.
people in Australia, we have people in Europe,
Hmm.
like,
Yeah, Scotland, England, Ireland.
mhm,
So we are
Australia,
worldwide.
yeah.
Yeah.
It started in Canada.
Hmm.
Not a US based, like, started in Canada,
Yeah,
so that's
and
why it's
it's grown.
.ca.
Yeah, that's yeah. And it's just grown so much, and, it's like, I was fortunate enough this past PAX East to go as Gamer Social Club, like, as
Mhm.
media, right? Um, that was something that I never in my wildest
Yeah.
dreams thought I would do, right?
To be able to be like, "Yeah, I'm part of this."
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
um, and that was really cool, so uh yeah, like just more of that in 2026. um I hope that, like I said, I hope it all continues to grow and that we're part of it and that anybody who's listening and watching is part of this. And if you want to see things from us in 2026, let us know in the comments, like let us know down below. um we're gonna have our award show. We're gonna do that, and I know there was a question on there about what you want to see, and we'll talk about those too when we get to that episode. But if you missed putting things on there, maybe you just didn't have an idea at the time, you know, let us know. Let us know in the comments. Um, and if you made it this far, not just this episode, but all these episodes in 2025, seriously, thank you so much for joining us on this Yap Fest, on this what the hell are we doing? And now here we are with a little bit more structure and, and having an idea. Although even this episode we did the segments a little bit out of order, but whatever. We go where the vibes take us. Um, and I hope that those vibes for you are amazing vibes. I hope that 2026 is kind to you. I hope if 2025 was not so kind that it stays in the past. And whatever it is that you do for New Year's, that you celebrate safely, that you have a good time. Um, that it is everything that you hope for. And my hope is that you continue to watch us and subscribe and check out gamersocialclub.ca, and be social with us. Join the Discord, in the link is in the description. Think about joining us and sharing your perspectives on gaming. Maybe there's something we've missed this whole year. Maybe you're like, Brit, you've talked about these niche games, but you forgot this one. I don't know.
Yeah,
Tell us.
yeah.
Join us. Tell us. Um, but I guess we can be really cheesy and say, "See you next year, everybody."